I'm with Mark Evenson, who's the CTO of Amino. Hello, Mark.
Hello, how are you?
I'm very well, thanks. Now, you've been showcasing what's being billed as a world first at IBC, which is a 4K UHD set-top box, but it has a dual mode in the sense that there's both the Amino enabled set-top software on there and also Android TV. So just tell us what market purpose that serves and who that's aimed at.
Well, a lot of our customers like the benefits that Android TV brings to the table, but they're not ready to switch yet. They've got to renegotiate, for instance, their content agreements, or they need to update all of their support systems in order to support Android TV. So this gives them the ability to continue to deploy with a faster, more capable processor using the Enable software, and then eventually go one of two paths, is either augment the Enable with an Android, what we call a sandbox, where they can run limited Android applications inside of an Enable environment, or convert completely to Android TV.
Okay, and is it for the IPTV market or for other operators as well?
IPTV, cable, you could even look at satellite as a hybrid where you would use this type of technology.
Okay, and there's obviously a sort of a strong movement towards Android, presumably.
Well, I think there is. Enable has always been attractive because it has a lot of DRM, a lot of capability built into it, but then there's also the appeal of having voice navigation and federated search and hundreds or even thousands of OTT apps that are built for TV, and that's the appeal of Android TV. Some operators will want to continue to have more control over the end user experience, and they'll elect to stay with Enable, but Android TV gives them that option of making the decision further down the road.
Okay, and just to be clear, it's Android TV, which means that it comes with Google Play, that sort of whole package.
That's right, it's a certified Android TV implementation that gives access to the Google Play Store.
Okay, and how many people do you think will sort of have Enable and then sort of complement that with Android, and how many are likely to migrate fully across?
Well, today the deployments that we have that are of this have the sandbox implementation, and they tend to be mobile operators where they've written their own Android apps, and then they can modify them to run well on a TV. So for instance, let's say you have a customer self-care app where you're able to go in and view your bill, or perhaps buy a new service, upgrade the service, and that runs today on a smartphone. Their developers can modify it so that it'll run okay on a TV, and then they can run that within the sandbox within Enable. Now, if we look a little bit further down the road, then I think next year and toward the end of next year, we'll have operators that will really fully adopt Android TV in its fullness, and then be able to integrate more and more third-party apps that were designed for TV, written and certified by third parties.
Okay, so what Android brings to the table, I mean, it is that apps environment and also the developer community. I presume even within the sandbox, it gives you access to a lot of developers.
That's right. I think both options give you access to a large developer environment, and with the Android TV, the addition you get are the pre-made, pre-certified, off-the-shelf applications.
Okay, and just run through a few of those. I mean, what could I get on the box, tomorrow if I deployed it and I took on Android TV, either in full or as a sort of a sandbox situation?
Well, you could get Netflix, you could get Hulu, Vudu, you could get YouTube. There's about 500 OTT apps available today, and they may be confined to a certain market, so maybe only Finland, but it's an OTT app that has a lot of draw for that market, and therefore you can get that right off the shelf. It's been pre-certified. It'll be constantly updated and available.
Okay, and what you're showing here is a proof of concept. When is that going to be available to people?
We'll start sampling it to customers in the first half of next year, and then make it a generally available product in the middle of next year.
Okay, and the Wi-Fi on board is quite high spec. I mean, it's 802.11c and it's 4x4 multi-input, multi-output. I mean, what does that give you?
Well, it's dual band for one thing, so that it runs in the legacy 2.4 and in 5 gigahertz band. And why that's important is that a lot of older routers that are out there today only support 2.4. Now 5 is less crowded, and therefore it's preferred for video deployment, but in reality there's a lot of customers out there that still have 2.4 routers. And it's also backward compatible with older technologies like B or G that are prevalent but not typically used for delivery of video. But because this has the over-the-top feature and the ability to do adaptive bitrate, we can work with these older router technologies in people's homes that haven't adopted the latest AC. For operators that are deploying what we call industrial strength Wi-Fi, and they need to reach all of the rooms in a large home, then what they'll want is this 4x4 Wi-Fi where there's actually 4 transmitting antennas, 4 receiving antennas. And for instance, if you have a long hallway or you have furniture that has reflective surfaces off of it, these antennas are able to remove the reflections and then get a true signal so that you can get further coverage in the house.
Okay, so better coverage, more reliability for multi-screen viewing especially.
For multi-screen, yeah, for multiple TVs per home,
Yeah.
for sure.
Okay, and it's UHD as we mentioned, but also got HDR, so that's obviously important. I mean, we're hearing that HDR can almost add as much as the 4K resolution.
Huge visual impact, and so we're demonstrating the HDR at our booth today.
Yeah. Okay, great. All right. Well, sounds very exciting. So thanks for telling us about it, and it's good talking to you.
Thank you very much.